Hello guys and welcome to the video. My name is Matthew and in this video I will be demonstrating to you how to create a new admin account without having access to any current admin account or any account with elevated privileges than the standard user. You will only require a computer running Windows 7. I am doing this in a virtualized environment, so for me hitting the start button is the equivalent to you pressing the power button on your machine. Now for this first step I want you to listen to what we're going to do before we do it, because it is important that you understand a few things. So we will press the power button, and the first thing that will happen when you do that is you will see a screen and it'll probably say the manufacturer's name of your device along with some other stuff. So you're going to ignore that screen, and the next screen that will show up should be a Windows loading screen, and that will be a couple of coloured orbs that will swirl around for a bit and then form a flag. And when you start to see that second screen, what you will do is you will press and hold the power button on your machine. You will not be able to see me doing that as it is a virtualized environment, but that is what we will do, and I will tell you when to do it. So let's start. Press the power button on your machine now, and then we wait. And as I said, that would be your manufacturer screen. Ignore that, and then you hit this screen. You're going to press the power button and hold it. So I've done that. Now for me that's restarted my device, but for you that will turn it off. So what you will do now is you will press the power button on your machine, and then after you let it load you should see this screen. If you do not, you have done something wrong. Go back and follow the steps again. Otherwise, if you're just not getting this screen, please let me know down in the comments section, or if it is Rachel, get in contact with me. So what you're going to do is, on the screen, is select Launch Startup Repair by pressing Enter, or if it is not already selected on it, then just use your arrow keys on your keyboard to select it and then press Enter. And you should see, after it loads the files, you should see a screen very similar to this one, or the same. So all you're going to do here is just wait. And at some point in this process you might find a screen that pops up that says, do you want to use system restore? See, like this. You do not want to, you're going to have to cancel, and that might pop up a couple of times, but just keep pressing cancel on it and just leave it running on this screen, and that might run for about 10 to 12 minutes or longer depending on your device. But once it finishes with this screen, it should come up with another one, and I'll get back to you when that screen pops up. Okay, so the screen hasn't appeared yet, but what I thought we could do in the time while we're waiting is I will explain what we're going to be doing, or how we're going to achieve the goal of creating a new administrator account so that you can either reset the password on an account that's already existing, or just use this new account. So the way we're going to achieve this is we're going to trick the system. There are two files in the system. One file is a sethc file, and what that does is it loads a menu called sticky keys. Some of you may have experienced this incredibly annoying feature if you have accidentally pressed the shift key one too many times. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to trick the machine by renaming that file so that when you press shift 5 times it can no longer locate the sticky keys menu file. And what we're instead going to do is copy and rename another file called cmd. So we're going to copy that one and rename it to sethc, so that then when you press Shift 5 times on your keyboard, Windows instead loads that command prompt. And after we have access to the command prompt with administrator privileges, we can continue on with a couple of commands to create a new administrator account. And creating the account in the command prompt is a two-step process. The first step is to create a new user account, and the second step is to add that new account into the local group called administrators. Okay, so that is how we will be achieving the goal. If you have any questions or do not understand that, continue watching, because we will be going through it and actually doing those steps, and I will explain it again as we're doing it. But if you reach the end of the video and you still don't understand anything, or haven't achieved the desired result, just leave a comment in the comment section, or if you're Rachel, just get in contact with me. Some important pieces of information is that this will work on all versions of Windows 7. So that includes Home Premium, Ultimate, Home Basic, Starter, Enterprise, Professional, all of the versions. And it will also work on Windows Server 2008, both the first and second revisions. Now, those are all the versions it is guaranteed to work on. However, in some cases it may also work on Windows versions 8, 8.1 and 10, but that is not guaranteed, it just depends on the device. So now that I've explained all of the information to you, I will again not wait because the screen just popped up. So, when you see this screen, what you're going to do is press View Problem Details, then scroll down using the side scroller here till you see this bottom link, X Windows blah blah. Click on that, and then you'll see a notepad like this. Click File, Open. Okay, and then you're going to see this screen here. And the first thing you're going to do is change file type down here in this drop menu to all files by clicking on the drop down menu and then selecting all files. Now the second thing you're going to do is double click on computer, then you'll see this screen or a screen similar to this. Now this is the fun part. You need to locate your Windows installation drive or partition, and the way you will locate or determine which one is your Windows drive is because it will be labeled as local disk, Windows, or something along those lines. Or alternatively, you may have renamed that drive for some reason. But if you did, you will know exactly what that drive is called, and you will just select it here. But for most people, it's local disk or Windows or something along those lines. So when you found that drive, for me that is drive D, and it's called local disk. You're going to double click it. Then you're going to double click Windows. Scroll down until you find System 32. Double click that. And then what we're going to do in here is we're going to scroll down using this side scroller until we find the files that start with the letter S. And once you've reached that point, you're going to use your manual scroll wheel on your mouse, or if you have a trackpad, either scroll using your trackpad if you know how to, or find an external mouse and plug that in and use the scroll wheel on it. Anyways, so you're going to scroll until you find this file here, sethc, then you're going to select it, right click, click normally rename, and then simply type in sethc1 and press enter. Okay, so what that's done is that file, that menu that comes up every time you press every time you press shift on your keyboard 5 times repeatedly, called the sticky keys menu, that is that file. And we've just renamed it to sethc1 so that Windows doesn't know what file to load when you press shift 5 times on your keyboard. But the file is still there, so if you want to restore it later, you can. If I get enough requests, I will create a video on how to restore that. For most people, it doesn't matter because you don't need sticky keys, generally. But if for some reason you do, again, if there's enough requests, I'll make the video, or you can look it up online or on YouTube. And if you just can't find it, just flick me an email and I'm happy to provide text-based instructions on how to do that. Anyways, so you're going to scroll up next and scroll until you find the C section, so the files that start with the letter C. So as you can see, I found that, and you're going to use your manual scroll wheel again until you find a file labeled CMD. So this is it here. Now what you want to do is right click, then with a single left click, press copy, then scroll all the way to the bottom of these files, and in this blank space right click and press paste with a single click. That is a single left click, sorry. And then one of two things will happen. Number one, it will create a copy of that file down the bottom here, at the bottom of the files, and for most people that should be the case, but for some that may not be. For others, the second alternative option for what will happen is it will create that same copy file, but it'll do it back up in the C section in alphabetical order. Now if that happens, just scroll back up, find the copy file of CMD and follow the same instructions that we're doing here. So what you're going to do is right click on this new copy file, with a single left click press rename, and then you're going to call it sethc and press enter. So what that's done, it is now created a copy of the command prompt program, and it has labeled that file, that copy of the program, it has labeled it sethc, which is the file that Windows looks for when you press shift 5 times on your keyboard. And because we are running it on the Windows login screen, or you will be, it allows us to boot into that program with administrator privileges, as opposed to standard user privileges that you would have if you launched the command prompt program from a standard user account. Okay, so we've renamed the file so that now when we press shift 5 times on the keyboard, Windows will think that you were trying to load the command prompt, which is good. So that's all we need in this menu. We can hit cancel, then we can press file exit on the notepad, and then when you're back to this screen, press don't send, and then press finish, and that will shut down your computer. So now that your computer has been shut down, all you want to do is press the power button and wait, and allow Windows to boot normally without pressing any special buttons or keys. Now, if for any reason you've gotten to this stage, or you haven't gotten to this stage, sorry, because something's gone wrong along the way, leave a comment in the comment section, or if your name's Rachel, the specific Rachel, then please feel free to get in contact with me. Anyway, so as you can see, it's booted into the desktop environment, or the login environment, sorry, and it's just a standard installation with all of your general users and your profile pictures, etc. Now, yours might look slightly different to this. It may be asking you for a username and a password, or it may say press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to log in. That is fine, any of them will work. Once you reach this screen, or one of the others, what I've just mentioned, you will press Shift 5 times on your keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, it will pop up with two things, or it might just pop up with the one command prompt window. Anyway, so on your sticky keys you press No, and you leave this window open, the command prompt window, so this one right here. And you're going to bring this to the center of your screen, and what you're going to do is we are now going to create the new account. So for that you will type in net space user space. Now this part is where you type in whatever username you want for this new user. So for me, I'm going to type in Grinch space. Now for a password is what you put here. You put the password for this new user that you would like. So for me, I'm going to put Biscuit, and it doesn't matter that you can see this, because this is a test environment and none of you will ever access this. So it doesn't matter that you can see my password. Now, so after you've put your password in, press space, /add, and make sure that all of that command is in lowercase and spelt correctly as it is on screen here. Remembering that Grinch and Biscuit is replaced with your username and your password respectively. So after that command is correctly entered, press enter. It should say the command completed successfully. If it does not, you've done something wrong. Go back and watch the video again. And if you do not get the desired result, as I've said before, leave it in the comment section or get in touch with me. The next thing we're going to do is add that new user that you've just created. So for me, that's called Grinch. We're going to add that to the local group labeled administrators, which will give that new account administrator privileges higher than the standard user, so that you will be able to log in and do things that an administrator account could do, such as install new programs, edit settings, delete other users, modify other users, etc. Or change the password of another user if you wish to just go back to an account that's already existing that you forgot the password of. So let's get started now. What you're going to do is type in net space local group without a space, then space administrators, space, then the username that you just chose. So for me that was Grinch, space /add. Now, before you proceed, check that you have entered the correct command correctly as it is seen on screen here, remembering that for you, Grinch will be replaced with whatever username you chose in the previous command. If it is correctly entered, as you see on screen here, press enter, and it should say the command completed successfully. Now all you're going to do is press exit, and that will close the command prompt window. Type exit, and press enter, and it'll close the window. Now you may notice that it hasn't added the user here. That's okay, it's just because Windows hasn't recognized the user yet. All you're going to do is restart the computer. So we wait and let Windows boot normally. And then you should see your new user account. So for me that was Grinch. So what you can do is press the account and it will ask you for the password. Or if you had one of those other screens, for example the Control-Alt-Delete screen or the enter username and password screen, if you had the Control-Alt-Delete screen, just press Control-Alt-Delete and then follow any other prompts, for example pressing OK if it gives you a system information menu or a dialog box giving you information about your company. And then you should either get to this screen or the screen that says enter username and password, or ask you for a username and password, sorry. So if you receive this screen, you just press onto the user account that you want, or if you had the other account, type in the username box the username that you chose when you created the new user account. So for me that was Grinch. Then, in both scenarios, click on the password box and enter the password that you chose when creating the new user in the previous steps. So for me, that was Biscuit. Now, all we're going to do is press enter, and it should log you into your new user account after preparing the desktop. As you can see, it's logged me into the new account, and if we just check by going into the start menu and control panel, and then user accounts and family safety, user accounts, it says here Grinch administrator. So it's created a new administrator account on the local machine. From here you can use it as normal or proceed to do whatever it is you wish to do with the use of an administrator account. I hope you have found this video helpful. If you have had any issues, remember to leave them in the comments section and I'll get back to you, or contact me via email or any of the other methods listed in my video description. As I said before, if you would like to know how to change those files back, the ones that we changed, so the command prompt and the sethc, then just let me know. If I get enough people asking for it, I'll create a video. Otherwise, I will send text-based instructions on a per individual basis. So, that's all. Thank you for watching.